Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about.
Hi, everybody.
Today's guest is one of my favorite plant-based chefs and conference producers for that matter. Of course, what's a conference? It's been over a year. There hasn't been one anywhere to my knowledge. Her name is Kelley Williamson. She's based in Colorado, and her food is absolutely amazing. And today she's going to be making a plant-based gyro, tzatziki sauce, and a Greek cucumber salad. Please welcome Kelley to the show. It's always great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, AJ. I love it. Thank you.
You are just so good. You're just really, I mean, even when you make plain food, meaning plain, simple, Plain, I can't spell today. Like when I didn't stay with you, but when I've done your conference, you fed me the way I like to eat. And even just the way you steam potatoes, I don't know, you have a magic touch.
Yes. And I didn't even know that stuff that sweet potatoes was not one of your favorites the way that we made them. But the way I made them, you were like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I'm like, I just threw them in the oven and threw a little bit of vegetable broth, and away we went. So glad you liked them. Thank you so much. Glad I could keep you full.
You are just really talented, and so are your recipes. I can't wait to see today's menu.
This is a wonderful one. So yes, so as Chef AJ said, we're going to do the gyros, so plant-based gyros, and these are always like a game changer. If you're going to back before COVID, if you want to do parties, these are ones that people absolutely love. They're just filling and they taste good, and they remind you of the ones that you used to get before you went plant-based. And then we're going to do a tzatziki sauce, which of course is your cucumber sauce that you want to put on there. So it's almost like kind of like a sour cream, but it definitely is a lot of cucumbers. So if you don't like cucumbers, you could always leave it out if you wanted to do that. And then a Greek cucumber noodle salad. So we've definitely got a theme of cucumbers going on here, but that's all good because it's Greek food. So we'll get to spiralize a little bit. You're going to get to learn about jackfruit. If you've not used jackfruit, I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can get jackfruit, and then I'll kind of tell you a little bit about my preference. So let's get started because I'm going to get the jackfruit going. All right, so we are going to start with getting the jackfruit going. So I have it on my induction burner, a little bit of vegetable broth. We always, of course, don't do oil. So if we saute, we do vegetable broth, vegetable stock, or as I always, and people usually in the audience are like, what is it? White wine. That's usually only in the Italian food and sauces. So we'll get that going. So that's going to heat up. All right. So if you've got the recipes in front of you, some of the things we're going to start with is we're going to do the onions. So if you don't have red onions, don't worry about it. Use yellow onions, white onions, green onions, whatever you'd like to do. But red just adds a nice color.
Yeah, I agree. I love the taste of sweet onions, but red is always prettier.
I agree.
I've gotten into jackfruit so much lately because I every year I do a YouTube on Forks Over Knives, some of my favorite recipes from their meal planner, and they had a soup that was like chicken soup, but it was made from jackfruit. And I swear when you shred it, it's amazing.
It is amazing. And it comes in its many different colors too. So that's kind of what I'm going to show you a little bit about. Depending on where you buy it or where you get it, it could be like, because some people will be like, well, wait a minute, I got this and it wasn't what Kelley showed me, but there's different colors of jackfruit depending on what how they package it and put that together. So we're going to show that. All right, so I'm going to get the onion going. All right, and then so when you're going that, then we're going to add the garlic. So just regular old diced garlic. One of the things I always talk about when I do garlic, to make it easy, I will take on a Sunday, I will roast out a whole bunch of garlic, and I'll just put it as the big bulbs and stuff. I'll put it in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then I peel them out. And then I actually just put them in like little pockets, and I put them in the freezer. And then that way, when you want to do roasted garlic, you have it at all times, and it freezes really well. So this is another little tip for garlic if you don't want to sit there and peel the garlic all the time. And there's nothing better than garlic and onions in your kitchen cooking anyway, because of the smell. And it's funny, when I do cooking classes and when I start cooking, like usually the entree, when we used to have the face-to-face, when I would just do the garlic and the onions and it would kind of wait through the stores or wherever I was cooking, people are like, oh, that smells so good. And I'm like, it's just garlic and onions. But it's amazing that those two smells and stuff will get people going.
It's the foundation of cooking. I feel bad for people that can't have them, but I remember interviewing a French chef once, and he said, onion is the foundation of French cooking, and garlic. And I'm like, it's the foundation of all cooking, because like last night for dinner, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to make. So literally, if I just saute an onion and put some garlic in, it doesn't matter what else I add, it's going to be great. I ended up adding mushroom, zucchini, and purple cabbage. But the point is man, that's how everything starts.
Exactly. And it's, yeah, you can't have, especially like the garlic, 'cause I know quite a few people that are allergic to garlic. That's hard, to think about what other type of things that you can put in there. So yeah, I agree. Garlic and onions in our house start out everything, soups.
Yep. It's a staple. And Chef Darshana Thakur, when I had her on the Truth About Weight Loss Summit, said, like, for people that do batch cooking, you could even do that and freeze that so that you just pull it out when you next time.
Exactly. I do tons of things like that. I freeze like my spinach, I'll freeze kale, I freeze the garlic, the roasted garlic. I'll get a whole bunch of, like, when some of our stores like Kroger's and stuff, they'll actually have a whole big sale on red bell peppers and green bell peppers. I'll go and I'll roast those out and I'll put those in baggies and just keep them. So then you have them fresh and they're just, they just pull them out when you've got soups or something else, or even a saute like you were talking about. All right, so I've got the onions and the garlic. So then I'm gonna add tomato paste. And this is the base that's what's going to actually saute the jackfruit in, which is really wonderful. So the jackfruit I'm going to show you. So this jackfruit, this came in a box, and you can find this in most of your natural grocery type of stores. And so you can get it in a box like this, which is just pure jackfruit. And then it looks like, so these are the different colors. This one is a dark jackfruit. So it comes in these little cubes. There's nothing on it at all. And when you get these cubes, you'll see that there's some moisture coming out of them. All you're going to want to do is just take them and break them with your fingers like this and shred it. You can also do it with a knife or a fork, which is really easy. And you just shred it down. So when you look at it, you've got this, it looks just like, almost like a shredded type of meat. And it's hardly any smell or anything like that. So that's the one that came out of here. If you go on Amazon has jackfruit in these packs like this, and it's by Upton. And this is probably my favorite of the jackfruits, and it's nice, kind of a light color. And this one's packaged really nice. If you only use part of it, because it does come in quite a bit, freeze the rest. And then you can just use it the next time you want to use it. And then, yeah, just a little bit of vegetable broth here. And then the other way that it comes, so lots of different types of packets, big packets on Amazon. These were like $12, which are really great. This is probably my favorite. And then canned. So this is going to be in your Asian stores. This one, if I can't find any other jackfruit, I'll use this one. This is not my favorite. It's a young green jackfruit in water. It tends to be a little bit more acidy. So I tend to prefer, if I can find it, one of these two different ways. That's what I'd recommend. This, you can keep this in your pantry. I've had this one for probably 4 or 5 months. And it's still great. And then once I pull it out, make a whole bunch of like gyros, or I'll make enchiladas or burritos. Then you can just, like I said, if you don't use all of it, freeze the rest.
Right. And also what I like about the packaged one is that there's no salt in it.
Bingo. Exactly. And a lot less acid. It just seems to not be as much acid when even if it's in the can in the water. It's not my preference at all, but can't find it, especially during COVID times when a lot of things are not on the stores. That's sometimes what you have to do. All right, so we've got everything in there. Then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. So if you're following along, we've got all the different spices. So lots of great ones. You've got cloves, cinnamon, cumin, oregano, and chili powder. So those are all in here, all ready to go. That in there. Give it a good mix in with your tomato paste. If it starts getting dry, vegetable broth, of course. Then you've got everything in there, and then we're going to add, we've got the low sodium soy sauce. This is actually tamari, but it's low sodium. Goes in there. And then, in honor of Chef AJ, because you could use maple syrup, or you could use like agave, I'm actually using date paste. So a lot of things and stuff, what I try to do now is substitute in the date paste because it's just a lot healthier. And the good thing about date paste, I'll go to Costco, and it's one of those great big box stores. I'll buy like the dates and stuff in these big packets like this, and then I'll soak out like half of them, and then I'll let it soak overnight. And then of course what I'll do is I'll just put it all in the blender with the water. So if you're soaking them, you want to have about 1 inch more water, and then put it in a blender. Of course, usually depending on the size of your blender, you put it into different parts and just keep blending it up. And then I put it in a mason jar and I just keep it in my refrigerator. Or if you notice you're not going to be using it, freeze it. Freeze it works really well too. And then last but not least, for the flavoring, apple cider vinegar. And then after you give just a good stir, then you're going to add the jackfruit. It smells. You've got like the date paste, and you've got a little bit of the apple cider vinegar. You've got all the spices. It's yum. Chili powder. And you want to get that mixed in as much as you can, because that's what's going to flavor. It's going to give you that really nice flavor and stuff for your gyros. Or if you want to call them gyros, it all works.
That is so cool. Jackfruit is so versatile. I mean, so when you're using it in the jar or in the packet, that is the unripe. And when you buy it in the store and it's yellow in a fruit, that's the ripe. I always get that mixed up.
Correct. So when you get it, if you get in the stores, and thank you for bringing that up, if you get in the stores and you actually, like in an Asian store, you'll see big chunks of it. And jackfruit it grows on a tree, and it kind of grows all up on the top of the tree, and then it grows on the branches. So each tree can have about 150 of these jackfruits. And there's sometimes we'll get up to like this tall and about this big around. And the skin on them is it's like green, like a really dark green, and it's really, really tough. And then it's got spikes all over it. So if you're bringing one of those home, like you get a whole jackfruit, because I've seen that now in a lot of the natural grocery stores. If you actually bring one home, you got to be careful, because when you cut through it and you're just like, normally like a fruit, like a pineapple or something, you're trying to cut through it. You got to be careful, because once you slice through it, there is this sticky stuff that is in the actual outside of the jackfruit, and it'll actually get on your knives. So they always recommend that you want to wrap your knives in some kind of a plastic or something, or get them where you can soak them really quick, because otherwise it sticks on your knives and it doesn't go away. So once you cut it open, you've got all kinds of like little pods and little seeds and all kinds of like little seeds that look like, kind of hard to see, but a little piece like that is a seed. It's all edible. When it's fresh, it probably tastes like honeydew, bubblegum, and cantaloupe. And it's usually more of a kind of like a cantaloupe color. And then when you get it more in the packs like this, you'll either get it where it's dark like this, or kind of more of the pale, kind of like the skin, I guess, the skin color. And those are when it's all ready to go to be used for different dishes. You definitely don't want to use the fresh in the dishes unless you want like the bubblegum, tropical kind of fruit flavor. So kind of watch out for that, because a lot of people are like, oh, I got the fruit, the fresh one, and I cut it all up and I put it in my enchiladas, and it didn't taste good. And it's like, yeah, it's really not meant for that, but it's really good and refreshing if you want to eat it.
Right.
And
it
then
tastes like juicy fruit gum to me.
Do what?
Juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit. That's exactly right. I would say that's probably a good way to put it. Jackfruit also comes from like, it's like India, Malaysia, and it's also in the same family as figs, which is a really interesting, even though they're this big and got a really hard skin, they're all related and stuff into the fig family. So, and mulberries and all those kind of things. So yeah. All right. So this is all mixed together. So you can tell it's got all the nice flavors, and you got the garlic and the onions and everything else in there. So now what I'm going to do with this, grab baking sheet, parchment lined paper. Add it to there. I always do baking sheets with parchment paper, easy cleanup, which I love. And I remember my mom used to do aluminum foil. I don't do the aluminum foil anymore. So I always use the parchment paper. Spread it out.
I actually have a silicone baking sheet now. It's so cool.
You're actually going to see a silicone one for the French fries. But otherwise, I just use even less cleanup parchment paper, because you throw it away. But I also know that you got to think about waste and paper and all that. So just spread it out like that. It's going to go in the oven, and I'm going to bake it out. French fries. So what I did, I'll show this. So you can actually do a couple things. You can either take your baked potatoes and you can just, slice them up, put them in water for a little bit, get the starch out of them, and then put them on like a silicone. It's like a baking sheet. They look like, I'll show you one that's a little easier to show. They got these nice little kind of like bumps on them, kind of little triangles. These are great for French fries. So you can tell this one's, been well loved. Jerry probably, if he could have French fries every day and every night, he probably would. He's a fiend for French fries. So these are great to put on your baking sheets to kind of get the air around your fries and to get things really crispy. You can also use it for vegetables. So what I did to get things ready to even make it easier is I baked up a bunch of potatoes. So of course I wrapped them in parchment paper, then wrapped them in aluminum foil, put them in the oven 350 for probably about 2 hours, and then have them ready. So they're all nice and soft, but they're also cooled off. I do probably 10 to 15 of these a week, and I just bake them up, and then I put them in a some kind of a Ziploc bag and put them in the refrigerator, and then we can pull them out. We can have, if we have like avocado, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches with French fries or something like that, corn on the cob. We've got these potatoes that are ready. We just slice them up, put them on the little silicone baking sheet, put them in the oven, and in about, like 425, and about 20 minutes later, French fries. So when you've got something like this, all you're going to want to do is just slice your potato down the long ways, and then do another slice on the edges, because unless you want really, really thick steak fries, which you can do for that, like that, separate them out. The longer they cool, the easier it is to cut them. So you just slice them, nice long slices. And then you grab your silicone pad and you just separate them out. And I'll just do a few more to fill up the tray. And the nice thing about it too is, because I know Chef AJ, you do this, you actually batch cook a lot of the potatoes. So you can have them for the French fries, you can use them for, for other things. You could actually heat them up. You could put them into all kinds of sautés and all kinds of different things. So it's always nice to have potatoes that are, as we talk about potatoes, that actually are just ready to go. So, all right, so there is all the French fries all sliced up and ready to go. And I'm gonna get those in the oven. You'll notice I didn't put anything on them. You could put pepper on them. You could do the salt if you wanted to. These are just plain. I'm actually trying as much as I can to sugar and salt. I gave both up probably about 6 weeks ago, I think now. I still crave the salt because I think I had too many years of salt in my head, and Jerry says it's all up here. But I still crave the salt sometimes, like on potatoes or something like that. But sugar, don't care.
I think salt is the hardest of sugar. I just had Michael Moss on the show and we were talking a lot about sugar, fat, and salt. But I think salt is the hardest for people, even people that say, well, I'm a sugar addict, I'm a fat addict, because there's nothing really that's like salt except for salt.
Exactly. I've tried all the different flavors, the Mrs. Dash and all those kind of things. Nope. I think like I said, it could be up here and I just need to get used to it. So like I said, 6 weeks, every once in a while, put just a little tiny salt. So I've drastically reduced the amount of salt and stuff that I have in my diet. Definitely the sugar too, that's kind of going more into the date paste versus the maple syrups and all those kind of things now. So thank you, Chef AJ.
Well, it's a process. I always say it's a process going unprocessed. But once you get over that hump, I mean, my husband, when we eat our food, it's just like we don't miss anything, but it does take a while for people to get there, and everybody's at their own journey. But, I agree. You got to have potatoes ready, and sweet potatoes, because then you can have fries in 20 minutes. And I think it's a lot easier to cut when they're already cooked.
I agree. And it's so much faster too. It's like one of those things that, especially that, if we're working at home or we're still working with COVID and everything else and families and trying to get things on the table fast. If you cook your potatoes and then you slice them up and then make the French fries, or you could actually add them to a hash, all those kind of things, it's just ready, and dinner's ready within 20, 30 minutes versus 2 or 3 hours while you're waiting for things to bake. So I agree. Always have things like that: baked potatoes, sweet potatoes, put them on salads. There's so many different things that you could do with a potato that it's wonderful. So yeah. All right. So tzatziki sauce. So let me grab everything for the tzatziki sauce. The reason I like this sauce, there's 2 different ways you can make it. You can make it with silken tofu, or you can actually make it with cashews. So depending on, you've got a choice of what you want to do. If you don't like tofu, you could do the cashews that have been soaked, or vice versa. So depending on what your flavor is. So when we get for the tzatziki, you're going to get a blender. And then when you're actually grating, so you grated up your cucumbers, of course, there's always going to be this liquid. So don't throw the liquid out, just keep it and then add it to the blender at the bottom. It just makes it more cucumbery, which is really nice. There's that. All right, so then, so if you're looking at everything, so we got the cashews, so we're gonna add the lemon juice. because you need a little bit of that moisture to grind everything up. And then depending on your blender, I put on the recipe that sometimes you may want to do this in 4 different sections, because every once in a while, if you don't have a blender that's like a Vitamix and it really grinds up things and makes it smooth, you'll want to add a little bit of cashews a little bit at a time. I just put water on the cashews last night and just let them soak overnight in the refrigerator and then drain them off. So they're all nice and soft. And since I have a Vitamix, I'm actually going to just add them all at once because I don't have that many. But if you've got a different type of blender, other than like a Blendtec, I would recommend that you do it a little bit of cashews, grind it up, blend it up, then put a little bit more cashews and do it that way. All right, so we've got the cashews in there. So we're going to blend those up until smooth. It's a little bit of noise here. And of course, always good to have a tamper because you can actually push everything down. All right. Then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients, and then you can kind of play with it a little bit. So if it gets really thick and you want to add a little bit of moisture, you could add, if you had extra cucumber juice, you could add that, or you could add a little bit of vegetable broth. So either way, to kind of keep it going. So then we've got, if you're looking at that, we've got the chickpea flour. So that's just garbanzo bean flour. And then we've got the garlic powder. So I'm going to add the garlic powder in. Chickpea flour. Do a little bit right now and add some more if I need it. And then you've also got apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar was never something that I used before. Like, growing up in Kansas, and of course, cooked all the meals for the family. Apple cider vinegar was never something, not even white vinegars, but now that being plant-based, I keep apple cider vinegar in by the jugs because I use it in like all of our, like different dressings or just in like soups and sauces and all that. I use a lot of apple cider vinegar, so it's really good. Okay, so we've got the cashews, just making sure we've got the garlic powder, sea salt if you want, or black pepper. We're not going to add that. And then we've got a little bit of mint. So I'm just going to add just a little bit. So just pull the leaves off. And if you don't like mint, I know some people really like mint and others don't like mint at all, then don't worry about adding it. You don't have to. It just adds a little bit of flavor because it's that Greek flavor is more the mint and the cucumbers. So it's always good to add that. Do not add your cucumbers in. If you wanted to add just a little bit, you definitely want to keep them shredded like this because once you add the sauce to it, it just makes it so nice and creamy. Okay, so I'm going to bring my vegetable broth over there. I'm going to add just a little bit because it seems to be, every once in a while you'll get cashews they seem a little drier even though they've been soaking. And you just have to add a little bit of moisture to them.
I know that some people don't like cilantro, but how can you not like mint? Mint's the best.
So I'm a little bit of mint goes a long way with me, and cilantro. It tastes to me. Jerry's the same way. It tastes like soap, which is strange. I'm gonna put those blend this up a little bit more. So if you want, so the differences between like the tofu and the cashews is going to give you more of a kind of a beige type of tzatziki. And if you use the silken tofu, you're going to get the white tzatziki. So depending on if you have that preference for look and the look of it, then if you want the white, go with the tofu. If you want the kind of the beige or you really don't care, go with the cashews. So that's another hint. So let me just make sure this is ready to go. Nice and creamy. Tzatziki. So I'm just going to put the cucumbers in. Do a nice little mix. And then I'm going to put it into bowl so you can see it. Vitamixes are great, Blendtecs, any of those and stuff to give you those really nice, smooth, creamy sauces.
Speaking of sauces, I think the last time you came on, you did a hot sauce episode where you made like 3 versions of your favorite hot sauces from scratch.
I did. And actually I had so much of the pineapple habanero one that we took it over to Jerry's daughter, and we actually gave her probably a mason jar about that big, and she ate it on everything. Loved it. She said it was one of the best sauces.
Maybe
All right,
you
let me
could sell them.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a line of SOS free hot sauces. There's only one commercial one right now, Brew Brothers.
For hot sauces?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's SOS free. Yeah.
I know you told me that I should be packaging it up.
I've always thought you should.
All right, I'm gonna write it down and start figuring out how to do that, because I don't know all the things about packaging, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that could let me know about how to handle things like that. So be a good learning process. All right, so tzatziki sauce ready to go. We have that over here. The potatoes are in the oven. I just checked. They're nicely browning. I also checked the jackfruit. I wanted to be a little caramelized, the jackfruit. So instead of being more of the soft texture like you usually get in burritos, I want to have it caramelized a little bit more. So it's kind of that crispy edges, which is really good. So we're going to keep that going there. All right, so now cucumber salad. Wouldn't this be great? We always talk about, wouldn't it be great to come home and then have this all prepared for you? So all you have to do is put it together, or even, probably even better, just have it all made up. I agree with that. All right, so I am going to do spiralizing. So I have a cute little spiralizer. Got it off of Amazon. I think it was probably $22 or something. So plastic, you can get metal if you decide that you want to do a lot of spiralizing. You can do that, but these little plastic ones like this, it has like 5 or 6 different blades, works really well. I probably spiralize once every 6 months or something on a salad. So I already spiralized one, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you've got this way. Need a bigger island. Need one of those 12-foot islands now. So on your cucumber, it's easier if you use just a regular cucumber versus the English cucumber because they're larger in size. So all you're going to do, you don't have to, if you want, like you didn't want the peeling, you could do like stripes of peeling, or you could take all the peeling off. I don't care. I like the prettiness of the peeling in there, and it's organic. So just slice it in half so you got these nice little chunks. Then you're going to grab it. There is a little hole here. So you just put the middle of it there. Then you've got these little edges on then you've got these little spikes here, like that. Put it together. There's a little lock that kind of sort of works when it's plastic, but not really. But we will go ahead. And so then all you do is just, what I do is I usually put my hand here, and then I start pushing this way. So I'm just pushing as I'm spiralizing. As you'll notice and stuff, it doesn't always go right into the bowl. Just kind of help it a little bit. And then we just pull the nice spiralized cucumber out. Like that. You'll have little pieces, and I'll show you what it also does, which is really fun. Large pieces. So little tiny pieces, really large pieces. Of course, this is hard to eat. It's pretty, but it's hard to eat when you're doing a salad. So when you're getting ready to get it where you're gonna put the dressing on it, just kind of grab it and just kind of pull it in pieces and do it where it's more bite-sized pieces, kind of like spaghetti size. And then when you'll see in the spiralizer too, you got this little piece of cucumber. So that could always be an hors d'oeuvre. For yourself, not for family and everything, but for yourself. All right, so then you just pull this up, it has those sticky things, and then that is ready to go.
Hey, I just thought of something, Kelly. If you really can't get over the salt cravings, you know what Dr. Goldhammer would say, go to True North and fast.
There you go.
That's probably true. I had thought about that, and before, it was probably before COVID. Yeah, but I would hope it would help. It's probably up here.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's in your head.
Good, thank you, Jerry.
No, I really don't. It's a real thing.
Yeah, definitely sugar. Don't care. but I do miss the salt. Okay, so I just kind of break them up a little bit so you've got bite-sized pieces and you don't have something that comes out really long. Okay, so there's your cucumbers. All right. Then we've got some of the different ingredients. We got the cucumbers. Then we have, these are one of my favorite olives. And if you were Italian, you can pronounce this really good. Because if we have an Italian friend that's a chef and he pronounces everything Italian and just makes it sound so wonderful. And so the way you pronounce these, and I always have to look, it's Castellvetrano olives. And so they're nice like big green olive, but they don't taste like green olives. So they are a mix between, so like to me, green olives, I'm not a fan of them. They tend to be real kind of acidy and too much, that type of thing. And I like black olives. So these are probably like the green version of a black olive. So nice, and you can find them in all the grocery stores, usually at the top shelves when it has like all your roasted red peppers and everything else in jars. So I just grabbed those and I just quartered them up. All right, and then you've got tomatoes. So I just quartered up tomatoes. So grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. Usually want to do something like a grape or a cherry because they hold up better in a salad versus like a Roma tomato or something like that. So and mix that up a little bit. All right, and then since I actually did a little bit less of the salad, I'm actually going to do an avocado, but I'm only going to do half of an avocado. Even though it says 2 on that one thing I recommend is, always start with less and build up and go more if you want a little bit more. But we know avocados and stuff have a lot of calories in them, so that's why I'm going to do half. So beautiful avocado. I just cut it. I actually love these things. They come from Amazon and they're called auto savers. So it's kind of like half of the avocado. And what you do is when you've got it going like this and you have the pit, that's a huge pit. You just actually take it. There is a little hole in the auto saver. So just put your pit there, wrap it, and put that in the fridge. So the nice thing about it,
That's
a really
horrible.
nice, yeah, thank you. Amazon, like $8.99. You get 2 of them. And you just wrap them as tight as you want to wrap them, and then you put it in the refrigerator. And if you get a little bit of browning on the top and stuff, but nothing, like 2 or 3 days later, you can just actually just do a little bit of the brown off the top, and it's a great avocado that stays without putting it in like in baggies or things like that. And you just wash them up and keep reusing them. We've had these for probably 4 years now. Love them.
Very cute. It's like little shoes for your avocado.
Exactly.
So Kelly, Joan says, would you ever use a non-dairy yogurt instead of cashews in the sauce?
You sure could. So your non-dairy yogurts, depending on which kind you get, whether it's there's like coconut out there or there's almond milk, you're going to get probably a little bit different color. It's probably going to be closer to the cashews, but it would definitely work. So if you just need that kind of creamy base and stuff to make it where like a tzatziki sauce is creamy with all kinds of cucumbers and things in it. So yes, you could definitely do that. So stay away if you want to stay away from the avocados and want to stay away from the tofu. That is a great example of what you could use. Yeah, they're like something like that. So this one's a vanilla flavored, which you wouldn't want to use but anything that's like a silk, like an almond milk, it would be probably closer to the color that we did with the cashews, but you could definitely use this as the creaminess. All right, so I've got the avocado in there. So I'm going to hold off on that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that more towards the end because when I start mixing things up, your avocado will break down. And so I want to have little chunks of that in there. And then you've got red onion. So of course, pretty. As little or as much as you want. And then we've got the last thing you've got is spinach. So I actually chopped up the baby spinach. That way you've got a lot of the same type of mouthfeel, which is really nice. I'll leave that there for just a second. Check everything. Looks like fries are almost there too. Yay. All right, so dressing. And then will come the fun part, which is building our sandwiches. Okay, so the dressing, balsamic vinegar, your favorite.
Mm-hmm. Which is your favorite flavor from California balsamic?
Fig.
Fig.
That's my favorite. I know you always used to like the grapefruit.
Well, right now it's curry is my favorite.
Yeah, I tend to go more towards like some more to the fruit ones. So probably like the apple or those. I like the orange. I love any of those type of flavors.
You're such
Okay.
a good teacher. People are commenting because you're not only an extraordinary chef, but just the flow. You should have your own show, or you should have your own culinary school, if you ask me.
I would love to have something like that. Yeah, we definitely, when we had all the cooking classes that were all in person and stuff, it was so much fun. We would have, we would do like meal prep classes. That became really, really popular because people would walk away with 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches, and 5 dinners. And so they would, walk away with things like, like these type of, containers, and it had, would always have an entree though and a side for that. But everything was made up, and it would be crazy. We would have, if you think about it, 5 lunches is 5 breakfasts and 5 dinners. That's a lot of food to prepare. 2 hours, packed up, ready to go. People could try some of the extra food, and they were walking out with big bags full of food and stuff that they could actually take home and put in their refrigerator. And I always say it was like, when you open up your refrigerator, it was like nirvana. You open it up and be like, oh, look at all this great food you can choose from. So you can tell definitely in our refrigerator that we have, the meal prep. Jerry can show it. I have all the meal prep things ready to go. So, even though we're working from home now, everything is ready to go. So Jerry could actually, he can come down for lunch, he can heat them up. They're all in glass, which is really nice. We just, figure out what every weekend I'm going to make, whether it's a soup and a dish, and boom, ready to go. So, but yeah, I miss the being in front of audiences and all that. But
where are you located? She'd love to take your classes, but you're not doing any in-person ones right now, right?
Now, because the places and stuff where we used to do the classes is they're all shut down. So, but definitely we're in Denver, Colorado. So we actually do all of our classes in Denver and then all around the different areas. So, yeah, but definitely on the meetup. So if you go to meetup.com, if you're not familiar with it, just type in meetup.com and then look for Denver healthy plant-based cooking classes. Sorry. And you'll find us. So if you just look for Denver plant-based, you'll see us and stuff, and you'll see all the classes. We actually, before COVID, and then now we've started doing everything by camera. We probably had like 265 face-to-face classes we'd actually done.
But the virtuals are every 2 weeks.
Yeah, virtuals are, Jerry's reminding me. He's my cameraman behind, so if you hear him. We do virtuals and stuff every 2 weeks. So if you join and stuff, you'll see all the fun things that we do and all the different, we have empanadas coming up, and then bim bim bop classes. So we have all kinds of things coming up. So if you want to join, it's fun. All right, so balsamic lemon juice. So I put those together. So that's ready to go. This is the dressing. And then I have the dried oregano. So you'll see there's kind of a theme with that. And then nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is really good for, it adds like a cheese flavor. So it's sometimes hard to find. You can usually find it in the grocery stores now because plant-based has gotten really popular, and we're kind of taking over the world, which is great. So you can find Bragg's has it. You'll see that next to like their balsamics, or if you go to a natural grocers or something like that, you'll get it. And it looks just like almost, I always say it looks like fish flakes, but it's really good. And we actually will put it on popcorn. We'll use it in all kinds of, like when we do like a ricotta sauce, and it's also good in dressings. But if you want a little bit of flavor on popcorn, air popped, nutritional yeast, really good. That with a little bit of pepper. Used to be salt, not anymore. All right, and then the last thing, garlic.
I'm going to put a challenge to you. Since you're somebody that really loves salt, you're going to know if it's good or not, because you said right now you're not resonating with any of the salt-free seasonings. Why don't you develop a line? And because if you like them as a salt person, then all of us will love them.
Challenge taken. I will do it because I have gone, like to spice stores, to all kinds of things, and there is nothing out there that even close to it. So there is, I don't know if you've seen this. I'm going to show you this, Chef AJ. You've seen this line. Because I know you love spices. Have you seen burlap and barrel?
I have not. I like the name.
Yeah, burlap and barrel. They supposedly what they do is it says it's handpicked by foragers in the mountains of Afghanistan. Toast-to-toast seeds they've got, but it's actually they're actually giving people work, and so it's called this one's wild mountain cumin. A really good friend of ours sent it, and it's the most fragrant cumin I've ever smelled. It's not real expensive. I think this was like $9.99 for that, for this one and stuff, but it's here. So burlap and barrel, wild mountain cumin. And I know how I was wanting to pull that out because I know that you love spices and trying different brands.
I
But they're
think-
really good about trying to, help people get work and then also keeping care of the earth.
And Kelly, have you ever tried local spicery? Because Nick DeVoren makes a whole line of SOS free. I gotta see if he can send you some because there's a few. And again, it's not like substituting for salt, but like his pepperoni spice and his Tasca della Sol. I love those.
No, I have not tried those.
I gotta hook you up because I think you might like them. Or maybe I can get them to send you a couple of small samples.
Love to do that. All right. Okay, so dressing's all mixed up. You'll notice that it's a very thick type of dressing, but that's okay because you definitely want it to be able to stick to the cucumbers and everything else. So let me grab, I have Tom's, which I of course put over here. And mix it up. You're gonna make sure you get all the spinach, everything in there. This is another salad that if you wanted to, you could add fresh mushrooms, you could add, like spaghetti squash. There's all kinds of things that you could do to make it if you want to make it different. All right, so just a little bit of the dressing. And the reason why I only do a little bit of the dressing is you start out with it like this. And then what you want to do is you want to get in there and you want to just massage it in. Jerry loves me. If I was in a class, I'd have a glove on. But you want to get in there and you want to massage the dressing in. And the reason why you do that is that you'll find you don't need as much dressing. And then if you have a liquid balsamic, it will actually stick to the lettuces and everything around it versus pool at the bottom. So just gives you a nice way to get everything in there. To taste it, to make sure you get enough dressing, always grab the lettuce. And that is enough dressing. So you'll notice I probably have enough dressing here just within that small amount that I made, enough for probably 2 more salads, but that's okay. You can do that later. That's delicious. Okay, so now we're gonna get the last thing I'm gonna add to cucumber on top. Get it in there. Whoops.
Oops.
Oops. Avocado overboard. Georgie, my little dog down here, my little Havanese and stuff is like,
Oh, you gotta show, maybe Jerry could pick up your dog because I love dogs in general and Havanese in particular. I have half a Havanese. She's half Havanese, half poodle. They call them Havanoodle. And you're having a noodle right now with your salad.
Noodles, yeah, that's right.
I will show you here in just 1 second. All right, let me get this in the bowl and then we're gonna make up the gyros. And we grab a couple of
Your bowls are beautiful.
Thank you. I like the white bowls. I have colored ones too, but a lot of times when I'm showing on classes, I like the white. It just makes the food stand out so much prettier. Make sure you get the goodies. And a little bit of avocado on top. And then I also, since another class that I did, I had extra chives left over. I actually thought, well, we'll just go ahead and use those. Nothing like adding a little greenery on top. All right. There's the Greek cucumber noodle salad. And that looked delicious.
Oh my God, it looks incredible.
Jerry, this will be Jerry's and my lunch.
Yes.
And then we're also going to share it with his daughter because she's like, don't leave me out if you're going to come visit. So we'll be meal prepping them a little bit for her too. So I'm gonna put that to the side. All right. So let's grab everything out of the oven. Pick up the cucumber. Let me show Georgie really quick. Wash my hands. This is Georgie. Say hi. Say hi. She's like, oh.
Havanese are just, they're the sweetest, aren't they?
They are. She's wonderful. Let me wash my hands.
Bailey, you have a relative on.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
She just had a haircut, so she's all nice and soft and pretty, and Hopefully it won't snow like it keeps snowing here. And like what last week we had 29 inches of snow. So we're lucky.
Do you cut her? Well, it's not really hot where you live, so you don't really shave her down in the summer, right?
No, we'll go like a puppy cut, which is like that.
I love the puppy cut. Yeah, that's what we do. Yep.
She's a little bit longer than a puppy cut right now, but that's okay. All right. Everything all set up.
Ray says, I really enjoy Chef Kelley Williamson's delicious meal presentations. Yummy, great teacher. Yep. I could have you on all the time. It's so fun watching you because that's just such a great rhythm. Thank you. All right. Jackfruit first. And this is perfect. It's got the caramelized edges on it. Let's get it all kind of in a bundle. And this would be a fun thing too. So if you're making these at home and you got a family that's going to sit around the table, one of the things that you could actually do is put this in a bowl and then kind of make everything like a buffet. And so everybody passes it around. They could actually do the tzatziki sauce if they want or not, add tomatoes, add cucumbers. It'd be really fun. So let me show you what it looks like. There it all is with the caramelized edges. And you'll see like some of it's like really caramelized on the edges. So you've got the soft that's on the inside and stuff, but the edges are all caramelized. So you're gonna get that really nice flavor with that. So that is ready. Okay, we're gonna put this here. Grab the French fries out. And French fries, you can do them as crispy or as not crispy as you want. These are actually where I prefer them. Jerry probably, so I prefer them where they're got a lot of the browning on the edges. Jerry probably prefers them where they're less. He's shaking his head now, so I guess he's maybe switched that a little bit. So I love the crispy ones. And what we find too is that if we will do like a meal and we end up with French fries left over, Jerry just puts them in type of a little box, like a little container. And then the next day and stuff, he puts them back in the oven on this little silpat like this and cooks them back up. So he'll reheat them, which is really nice too. So that's what I love about the air fryers. It just crisps everything up in a few minutes.
yes. Actually, I can put this on top of this because my actually induction burner is not hot. Gives me a little room. All right, so to make it fun, I have these cute, because doing cooking classes and I've done some catering, things like that, I have these cute little kind of wraps that they use for sandwiches or a lot of times and stuff. If you went to certain restaurants, these are always at the bottom of a basket when you had like some kind of a French fries or something. So I have these. And of course, ropes. I have pitas. They are completely whole wheat and everything good. I sent Jerry to the store to make sure that he picked out the right kinds.
No oil.
Have no oil, everything. This brand. So Tufayan. So Toufayyan. It comes in a lot of the grocery stores, the natural kind of grocery stores. So that's a really good brand of whole wheat, and they're good for that. I'm gonna do a couple. All right, so we've got. You look at all the different flavors, all the different stuff we're gonna have on there. We've got, you've got the tzatziki sauce. You've got sliced red onion. You have tomatoes. You have more cucumbers. You can do romaine lettuce. I actually chose red leaf, and the reason why is because of color. I just like the color. I think red leaf of the edges of it is just so pretty. And then I have a little bit of chives. So there. All right. Tzatziki sauce, if you want, you can actually put it, like if you make it the day before, go ahead and put it into your the refrigerator and let it chill up, because the longer you let it set, the more it's going to get firm. But we've got this one already. So, all right, so got that going. So we got the jackfruit. Let me grab a big spoon. Make it a little bit easier. Actually, I'm going to do French fries first. A lot of times when you go and you get Gyros, you don't actually get French fries in them. They'll be on the side, but that's what makes this good. So let's just do, then you get the potato and you get the crunch and you get the flavors.
I shouldn't do the cooking demos right before lunch. I get too hungry watching.
Yeah.
All right, grab all the jackfruit. gonna grab a piece because flavor wise, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of tang. I can taste like the different spices in there. It's just really, really good. And it has a really good, like, kind of chew on it too, which is really nice. Very flavorful. And then if you add extra, you could actually just add a little bit more sauce to it. And then what you could do too then is actually add it to burritos or something like that. So if you end up, so like right now, just what I made with the 2 cups, right? You could actually, you know, this is probably 12 gyros. You don't want that many, then just save it off and use it for something else. It has that good of a flavor. Just a little bit more. All right. Tomatoes.
I mean, you could probably make a gyro bowl, you know, like I personally don't eat bread. I could imagine just like doing everything, the cucumber salad and putting the faux meat on it and the sauce.
Or
That would actually be wonderful.
lettuce wrap.
Lettuce wrap. Yep. You could do that. So just kind of, you know, just kind of, you know, put it where it's just pretty. So you got the tomatoes. You got everything.
Liner works best on a cookie sheet, asks Cindy.
What was that? I'm sorry.
What liner works best on a cookie sheet?
Usually I would say any kind of like your, let's just see if I had one. Anything that's like your silicone. So, you know, so this one's one stuff, but I couldn't find my other one, but any kind of silicone pads, because it's buried way underneath here would work. Or if you're doing cookies, a lot of times I just use parchment paper. I probably have a stock in parchment paper. I have like probably 6 or 7 rolls up in my cabinet. I just like it because something like this is once I get the jackfruit off of it, I just roll it up and throw it away. But any kind of silicone, you'll see it. Like if you go on Amazon or go into the regular stores now, they have them and they're usually rolled up and they kind of almost look like a rolling pin, but you can get them at the stores and they're under $20 is what I would say. All right, so red onion. And then red leaf lettuce. Okay, now pull those off to the side because then we're going to grab tzatziki goes at the end, but you can also, because this is yours when you get it home, you could actually make it and put the tzatziki sauce on the inside. So you could actually kind of almost use it like a mayonnaise or a something like that. Put it on there first and then make it that way. So you're going to take square. You do the same thing with parchment paper, or you don't worry about it at all and you use a toothpick at home because nobody cares. All right, and then I go like this. I roll up that. And I wrap it like, you guys have kids at home, you would understand. Wrap it up almost like it's a diaper. Grab your rope. This is what you're doing a party. What's really pretty on there, but I couldn't find, was like raffia, just that really kind of like almost like that they use to wrap packages. And then if anything falls out, just put it back in. One more square, fold it into a triangle, tip down, grab, point up first, diaper, edges in. Rope.
I got an idea. In your spare time while you're developing your hot sauce line and your spice line, maybe a food truck?
I have thought about that. I have heard though, food trucks are a tough life. But actually the Italian friend of mine and stuff said we should do a food truck. All right. So then when you look at it and you get ready to serve it, tzatziki sauce. Dollop. Every time I do it, I think of dollop. I always think dollop of Daisy. They have those commercials. All right. So there's your plant-based gyros or gyros. And your cucumber noodle salad. Doesn't that look like a delicious lunch?
Oh my God, it looks like the most satisfying, filling restaurant meal. Unbelievable. The quality.
And it's all Greek flavoring. So, yeah,
Jerry, you know how lucky he is?
Yay.
Yay. Jerry gets to eat. Everybody always says they're
Yay.
jealous because he gets to try everything and eat everything. So
Guinea pig.
Oh, man, you're incredible, Kelly. And you did it all in under an hour, you know, and plus we were talking a lot too.
yep. And the cool thing too, guess what Jerry gets to eat?
Yay.
Extra French fries. So
I love it.
he'll have, yeah, so
Cindy saying, Cindy said, if you can please say the name again of the pita bread that you recommend.
yes, we are going to grab it and I'll actually put it up in the front. So Toufayan, so TOU, F as in Frank, AYAN.
Oops.
This is Passover, so those of you observing can't have it for another 6 or 7 days. Maybe we
Yeah.
can have the, you know what, why couldn't we put a gyro on matzah? Hey.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many things you could do. The bowls you could do. I mean, there's so much you could do with this that
Yeah.
don't miss out.
And you know, I don't know if you've ever seen me cook, but I am like known as the messy chef. And Apple saying that was amazing. Her kitchen doesn't look like a mess explosion. Nancy says food by Chef Kelley looks amazing. And Amy says total restaurant quality. A couple people are asking for your address, and they'll be right over.
we can just like right out the front door. Here you go. Actually, we're good. We're all vaccinated, so we're all good here. So you can definitely hand them out.
Well, you are just one of the most really truly talented plant-based chefs, and you know, not everybody can teach too, and to do it at the same time. So kudos to you. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. Anytime you want to come back, just let me know. My audience loves you, as do I.
I'll come back anytime you want me. I love it.
I want you all the time, and I want your
Okay.
delicious food.
I'll do it. No problem.
Thank you so much, Kelly, Jerry, and Georgie. The recipes are in the show notes. Show notes means YouTube. Unfortunately, you can't see show notes on Facebook. You go to youtube.com, or my channel, Chef AJ. Underneath the video is the recipes. Oh, how to find the meetup, Connie is saying.
Just go to meetup.com and type that in. And then in the search, you'll see the search at the very top. Type in Denver Healthy Plant-Based Cooking Classes. And if you just even remember Denver Healthy Plant-Based, then you'll find it. And you'll see there's
Your website has link.
Yep. And then my website, which is plantbasedkitchen.com and stuff. Actually, there's the link to that too. But just meetup.com, Denver Healthy Plant-Based, and you'll see everything. And we advertise everything we do up there.
And it's also in the show notes. And Susan says, please have her back. So just tell me when you want to come. I know you work full time, so probably weekends. So let's definitely get you on the schedule as soon as possible. Thanks again, Kelly. This was amazing.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Love you. Love you, Chef AJ.
Love
Thank
you.
you so much. I love you guys too. And thanks. And I love you guys too for watching, and come back because today's a triple header, 3 shows today. What a day. First Michael Moss, then Kelley Williamson, and come back at 2 when we have a well-known stand-up comedian coming on. And we're going to talk about the secret recipe to being funny. Anybody can do it. Thanks again. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.